Um, Folks, welcome. Welcome to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. We started always early, a few minutes, so we can make sure that we got a signal and everything is going through good. Let's check it out. Got a great show today. Oh, there we go. We finally got one. So I'm asking people to share it around to your groups right now. We're going to talk about, has men lost their masculinity? As time has went on, we've seen changes in society. But as an old schooler, I've seen the change in men, not only psychologically, but physically. So we're going to explore that today. We're going to talk a little bit about the difference between the men of the old school and the young men of the new school. If you ain't got nothing to do, call your friends and let them know we got a great show coming. You can always call in. I'm telling folks to call in. If you want to participate, you can go to tecntv.com and you can check us out there. But we got a great topic we're going to talk about. Um, the difference between the men, old school men and young school men. We're going to finish up on Kanye because there's a lot more stuff going on with Kanye right now that we're going to talk about. I got a great guest coming in. Miss Hughes will be here. She'll be coming in shortly. And we're going to discuss those things. We're going to discuss the difference in the men of the old school compared to the young men of the new school. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about finish up on Kanye and whatever's out there relevant. This is an all-out Thursday. I'm going to make it an all-out Thursday. Y'all share it around. Y'all come on in. We got a great show. We got a great discussion. We had a great show last night. We talked about your health and wellness and how you can eat right, get the proper amount of sleep, and continue to keep yourself in some kind of shape. And I think that's the biggest problem, especially in the Black and brown communities, is that there's a lot of medicines, high blood pressure, diabetes medicines. All these things are being prescribed when some of the times people really don't need it, and all they have to do is get off their butt and take a walk or work out a little bit. So that was a great show last night. We got a lot of reviews from it. A lot of people called. My nephew at the end of the show requesting that he be their trainer. So it was a good show. And what about Kanye, man? We're gonna finish that off today. As things seem to get worse for Kanye and he's losing more endorsements, people are continuing to think that he done lost his mind. That is not necessarily true on how that goes, but we're gonna finish up on Kanye because I think the brother's getting a raw deal, and he's all of a sudden he apologized to the Jewish community for telling the truth. And I think that's a damn shame that when you tell the truth, you have to swallow it because everybody that's say that you wrong or participate to say that you wrong come against you. And we're going to finish off Kanye and talk about the difference in men and women. Even the women are different compared to the women of old school. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call a friend and let them know you're listening to Let the Truth Be Told Radio. I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr., and the show is Let the Truth Be Told, Let the Truth Be Told. I'd rather for you to hurt me with the truth than comfort me with a lie. I'm going to see y'all in a second. Y'all come on in and share it around. We got 5 minutes for the start time, and we're going to make it a great show. We're going to talk about what's trending out there today in America. I see they already after Donald Trump, some woman that said he raped her back in the 90s. So they're gonna bring that back up. I don't understand it. I really don't understand how they keep going after leaders and talking about something that happened about 50 years ago. That's totally irrelevant. It's totally ridiculous. But that's what's happening. Anytime we get close to the election, if somebody can make a difference, you can believe that the other party is going to capitalize on it. So we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about what's current, the difference between men from the old school and the new school. It's a big difference. It's just not the same. When we came along, men were men, and we were strong men. I don't know what we're doing today with our young brothers, man. They in a whole different world. They're not as athletic as the men of old school. Um, not as responsible. Some of them aren't responsible as the men of old school. And so that's what we're gonna discuss. We're gonna discuss the responsibilities of the old school man compared to the new school man. So y'all share it around. And I ain't got no bias. I'm just gonna keep it 100% and tell the truth about the difference in men from old school and new school. Because if the idealistic dreams that men from old school had were prevalent today with our young brothers, you wouldn't see all this violence. You wouldn't see killing, and the black family wouldn't be down the way it is. So things have changed, but the traditions and values have been lost. And that's why we see the difference in the men today. Men, well, we're going to share this for the show because we finna get it in. Y'all can call in. Women, 708-663-5262. Men who watching the show, 708-663-5262. Young men, old men, call in and give us what you think is the problem between the men of the old school and the men of the new school. It's a big difference. Things have changed, and it's going to be a great show. And remember to call in, folks. Number 708-663-5262. I want some of the sisters to call in because y'all know the difference. Y'all experienced it. Y'all know when y'all meet these young men, it's so many complaints. You meet the older man, and it's so different. So we're gonna discuss that a little bit. But I want the participation from the floor. Y'all can call in. Tell me if you've had experienced a situation, the difference with an older man and a younger man. Brothers, if you've experienced a different situation with our older women and our younger women, we're going to talk about that today because that seems to be an issue, and especially in the black community. So we're going to discuss that. We got about 2 minutes for showtime, and then we're going to get it in and chop it up. And like I said, folks, the number's at the bottom of the screen. Y'all call 708-663-5262. Y'all young brothers, y'all call into the number and tell me what's in your mind. I want to know what's in your head because right now it just seems like it's all just one big blur. It's one big party, and the young men they almost seem like they have lost their way and the direction to stand up and fight. So that's what I'm telling folks. Y'all come on in. Hey, girlfriend.
Hey, everybody.
I'm scared you did that.
That was Dave. That was Dave.
We talking about the difference. We got a show tonight because you let your people to call in. we talking about the difference between old school men and young school men. It's a huge
hot topic tonight. What?
It's a huge difference. And so
don't be hating on me because I don't know your species. Y'all are from Mars. We're from Venus, and we shave our legs for a living.
Well, you know what? Men today are doing a lot of leg shaving too, a lot of hair dressing, hair hanging down, and big. You know what? We finna
in the background talking about nope.
Call the number, especially the brothers. I want new school brothers to call in 708-663-5262 and tell me what's on your mind. You know, old school brothers, I'm gonna represent, but I want the young brothers to call me and tell me what they.
And old school mama is gonna represent too. I'm not gonna leave my man astray. That's it.
No.
I believe a man better be strong. Oh, Christian, you believe a man need? No, I have 3 dads.
Let me throw you back here. Let me throw you back here, and we're gonna get started, okay? Oh, folks, I'm so glad that you're tuning in. We got a great show today. I want folks to call in because I want to be able to. Does this have anything to do? I want to be able to get a conversation going on.
A global pandemic or a global plague?
I can't choke. I can't breathe.
These are the last words of George Floyd as he was attempted to be put into the police vehicle, how he fought not to get in.
I'm on the ground.
And that's a conversation we're having today about our men, our young men, our older men. There's a difference, and it's affecting the community in totally different ways. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call your friends and let them know. It is time to Let the Truth Be Told Radio. I'm your host, David L. Ivey Jr.
Police gunning down black kids and men, an accident or simply murder?
We can deliver racial justice and we can make America once again
the liar and thief
force for good in the world.
President Biden, will he make America great? We want to hear from you. Global, universal, and coming from the windy city of Chicago, Illinois. Now it's time to let the truth be told with David Lowry.
Good morning, Vietnam. Good morning, good afternoon, where you're at, and welcome to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. Folks, we got a great show today. We're going to finish talking about Kanye. I got a great co-host today. And we're going to talk about the difference between the old school men and young school men. There's a total difference. Have the new school men become or lost their masculinity is what we're talking about. Compared to the old school men who would step up and put their life on the line for their family and their country and whatever organization they belong to. So that's the question today. What's the difference between old school men and young school men? If you ain't got nothing to do, call your friends and let them know. You're listening to Let the Truth Be Told Radio. I am your host, David L. Lowry Jr., and the show is Let the Truth Be Told, Let the Truth Be Told. I'd rather for you to hurt me with the truth than come for me with a lie. Let's get ready to rumble. Folks, thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. If my voice is a little bit raspy, the weather changing, and I might be catching a little cold, but I'm all good, though. First, I want to give all praises to God and my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for making it possible for me to be here. And I want to welcome my regular listeners, my first-time listeners. If you're just passing by on the internet, stop in and check us out and listen to what we're saying. There's a couple of things I want to talk about tonight. One thing I want to talk about is we want to finish up a conversation with Kanye West. We discussed him last night, and the powers that be is trying to break Kanye. What Kanye said was the truth, and nobody wants to hear the truth, especially when it affects people the way he said it. And every time we turn around, it's always, I thought that this country gave us the freedom of speech. And it seems that those freedoms are being taken away. If somebody says something that's not politically correct, then the enemy comes and that organization comes up. I'm just going to keep it right and real. The Jewish nation got upset with him because he said that the real Jews was black people. And that's the truth. That's not a lie. The Jews that you see in America today are not the real Jews, but they are the Edomites. They are the descendants of Esau, not of Jacob. And so that's what the big mystery is. And it seems that's what people don't want, especially black people, to know that we are God's chosen people. They do not want that to come out. And so anybody who even have the inkling thought to say what I'm saying now is that the Edomite are not the true Jews, but black people, the lost tribe of Israel. Deuteronomy talks about us being sold into captivity in a foreign land. Well, that's what happened to black people. We was put on slave ships and brought to a foreign land and became slaves. So that's the topic we're going to talk about, that, and we're going to talk about old school men versus new school men. So with no further ado, I'm going to bring in my co-host. What's up, baby girl?
How you doing? I'm sitting there listening. Only thing I know is that I'm a child of the Most High. So trying to get, theoretical with people. I'm not, because so many people want to put my Heavenly Father in a box. I'm not going to put him in a box because he formed me before I was even thought of. He formed this earth before we was thought of. So trying to place him in a box, I'm not going to do that, because I think, and I have a feeling he's going to shock all of us.
Well, let's. First thing I want to finish up with Kanye West, and I want to get your perspective on
why
that.
he's apologizing right about now.
Well, and you know what? Let me say this. I really think that it's a travesty of justice to the American people. And why do we have a constitution that allows us to have the freedom of speech? And Kanye was basically exercising his freedom of speech in his opinion. Now, it's a sad day in this country when a man can tell the truth and be punished for it. It's sort of just like what happened to Jesus when Jesus went down and he dealt with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and he started to tell them the truth about they really didn't care about God, but all they cared about was the material things in the world. Then they sought to kill him. So this is the similar thing to me, and I'm not saying Kanye by no means is Jesus Christ, but the situation is similar. The man came out and said that black people were the real Jews.
I think he said a little bit more than that. He said to go on DEFCON 3
But,
on some Jews, but I kind of knew who he was talking about. I've been down this rabbit hole. I've been down this rabbit hole a lot, and it's scary that certain people in the world owns the world. And I'm not, like I said on my page yesterday, I'm not debating with anyone. I'm not arguing with anyone. That is Kanye's decision on what he did. But what his point of view was, what did he say that should get this much backlash? But then if you start looking at I think there's like 300, 400 comments just on one post, and everybody kept saying the truth, the truth, the truth.
Exactly.
So that's Kanye's point of view. He got F around money. I don't think he cares. He's been through a lot. He's been behind that curtain.
Yes,
I tried to get in the music industry. I was warned from the music industry exactly what I was getting myself into. And they said, you got children and you need to leave. But once you start going down certain rabbit holes, you will understand exactly who Kanye was talking about. Just like, they didn't say nothing about Epstein money or Epstein's.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Because majority of these people are on Epstein's travel blog. So I'm over to the point like, JP Morgan, the credit score and all the rest of this. You ain't saying nothing about the up echelons, the Hunter Bidens, the Joe Bidens, or anyone else that has this type of knowledge about them. You ain't censored them. You ain't squashed them. You haven't canceled them. You've said, and no offense, they've said more nastiness towards the black community, the Indian community, and the poor white community. So him talking about the upper echelon. So if any person out there that's Jewish that feels like Kanye was talking about you, pick your toes up, put them in your pocket, and what you did wrong to make your own self-conscious, put you in a box because you ain't that rich, you don't rule the world, and you don't have that power. So for anyone that got in their feelings because of his point of view, the problem ain't with Kanye, it's the problem that you look in the mirror every day. So if you feel some type of way about what Kanye said, then the problem ain't Kanye, the problem is you and why you feel he is offending you. Because eventually I've heard about this stuff. I've heard about Bohemian Grove. I've heard about Hollywood. I've heard about politicians, and I have pulled back that curtain. So what are you mad at unless you already doing the same dirty stuff? You are out there molesting children. You out there on the Epstein flight log. You trend that way, and you feel like he might have stepped on your toes. Then it's not Kanye that we need to be focusing on. It's your perverted tail.
And and I want to reinforce this too.
No, I'm gonna do it.
What the things that it's just like every time a black person of color who go behind the scenes, who get into that Holly weird, just like Dave Chappelle. See, David Chappelle, the comedian, is a hero for me. I love him because he stood up against Hollywood and said, you know what? I seen Eddie Murphy. I seen all these other black men who put dresses on.
Oh, you went there.
Women. Okay, so Dave Chappelle said, I am not going to put no damn dress on so Hollywood can like me or elevate me. I love him for that because everybody that go to Hollywood get indoctrinated. We talking about on nappy head Jay-Z, who is not probably one of the worst rappers of all time.
No, look at exactly who he's hanging around and who he's been sacrificing around. So
exactly.
All of this and all of that and this and all the Maria woman, that straight like I said, some of these people I ain't gonna have a clue what we're talking about. but it's not for us to make you believe or understand what we're talking about. This is when David and myself is asking you to open up a whole nother tab. Prove us wrong before you get in your feelings, before you start trying to hate us, before you send us hate mail. Prove what we're saying is wrong, because anybody that knows and been following Dave Chappelle know he walked away from $50 million right before his show started because he refused to wear a dress and he didn't want to be pictured that way. So a lot of this stuff, even with Cat Williams and a whole bunch of these people, and you can take it to what's Martin Lawrence running out there with a bag on him talking about he waving a gun in the middle of the street. Somebody was out to kill him. Now, I said earlier today, we could take it to the other side. Chester Benfield, he was the lead singer for Linkin Park. Cappy is another person that happened to off himself. You had a couple of more, Chris Cornell. All these people have been warning you. You had both of the what was it? Corys. You had both of the Corys growing up. You had all these people been warning us about the upper echelon and the undercover world in Hollywood, and also the industry, in the music industry, entertainment industry. So what we're saying right now ain't as far-fetched. You just don't want to believe what a man have to tell you, a straight man that is, and also a woman or grandmother that is, that's trying to warn our men not to fall in this trap and protect the men, the children and the females, like y'all should be doing to begin with, not trying to be us.
No, it's like you right, not trying to be us. We're gonna get into that in a minute.
I'm talking about the spirit cooking lady. Her name is Maria. I will not say her last name. You're gonna have to do the research for yourself, and enough has been said about that whole topic. So you know what I'm talking about, Miss Dorsey. If no one wants to believe in spirit cooking, if you don't want to believe in Sasha Fierce, if you don't want to believe in the one eye signal, if you don't want to believe in all of this, we cannot help you, and get off our screen, because we're not here to debate facts or truth with you when this stuff is out there in open sight for everyone to see.
And that's how they hide it in plain view. And I want to say something. I'm glad you talked about the Epstein situation. See, for me, I don't believe Epstein is dead. I really don't. I never believed that he hung himself in no cell. This is what I believe. It was a fake body. He's over at that island right now, going to different countries like Haiti, buying kids and raping them, because that's what he was, a pedophile. But how is it that Bill Cosby went to jail for something that happened over 50 years ago? Every time a black man or a black leader decide that they want to take the next step up, if it's not in conjunction with the powers that be, they get knocked down.
Herschel Walker right now. Oh, he paid for 2 women abortions. Wait a minute, Democratic Party. Y'all literally sacrificed children at the altar of Baal. So for Herschel Walker talking about what he paid for an abortion, isn't that all up in your platform? Y'all won't slaughter children. So why y'all making that a big deal? So that tells me right now they cannot tell a lie on this man. He already proved he got his badge. He done did all this. So the same thing that the Democrats right now are pointing, look what he did. Look what he did. Y'all gentrify people every day. Y'all genocide people every day. So trying to pick that little plank out of Herschel Walker eye, you might want to take that farce out your party.
Well, it's the whole thing. This is one of the whole things that has led this country to where it's at. It's because the Democratic Party itself has become part of the New World Order. They're not even concerned about Jesus Christ no more. They're not concerned about God. I was listening to Joe Biden talk about the big guy upstairs. He couldn't say God out of his mouth because
he said that thing. You know that thing. What thing? Say it out loud, because you're gonna have to say it one day or another. Because all knees shall bow, and
every tongue should confess. And so before Joe leave, but see, Joe ain't worried about that. He having this heaven on earth. He don't give a crap about hell, because he knows when he goes, he gonna bust it wide open for all the lives he done destroyed, the lies he done told, people he done killed. I mean, so
that's why I don't understand the Catholic faith. I don't understand the priests, the bishops, and even Pope
Start,
John
start from that.
because that is one religion that is mandatory. You don't kill babies. You don't slaughter the unborn. You don't do any of this, but you'll walk around with fake ash on your forehead and sit there and try to take communion in the church and think it's okay, but then get out here and then you desecrate everything your faith believe in. And for the Catholic faith to be one of the biggest faith with billions of souls, billions of souls. Tell me, how does Pope Francis bring in the one world church? And before anyone out there get in your feelings, this year alone, not only did they create the new church, which is called Chrislam, they literally combined the Catholic faith also with the Islamic faith, as in last month when Pope Francis called all the gold to be brought back to the Vatican.
Exactly.
Somebody prove me wrong.
And the thing about it, all the gold to be brought back to the Vatican was all the gold that they stole from Africa. That's where they got the gold from, okay? When they raided Africa and got those 12 million slaves and brought them back over here, they took all the gold and whatever that they could from their country, and they brought it back and they put it right there at the Vatican.
The spear that every country has been looking for, the spear that pierced Jesus in his side with the water and the blood before he dropped his head on that cross and said, "It is done." That spear is supposed to be the most powerful thing, that as long as one country owns that spear, they should have supernatural power over all of their enemies. The last time that they have been trying to find that spear and plus the cup, it was in the hands of Adolf Hitler. And after the fall of Hitler and after the fall of Germany in World War II, no one has found that spear yet, but they're saying it is in the vault of the Vatican.
It is, and that's where I believe the Ark of the Covenant is there too as well, right there at the Vatican, because that's where everything that was stolen from different countries. Every time we went to war, when they beat the country, they looted the country, and they brought all the spoils back to Rome at the Vatican. And so that right there is a whole different conversation. But the conversation, because the conversation we having today is this: is why is it that, especially with black men and women, why is it that when black men and women that's been in the Hollywood lifestyle, he was married to Kim Kardashian, so he knows exactly what this new world order is bringing. He knows that it is going to be.
But he didn't know he was going to have daughters.
No, he didn't know that. But
he didn't know that he would have to sacrifice. Come on,
well, see,
the people that know.
You
just don't get that high up and being billionaires without sacrificing something. You can say what you want, and I'm not arguing with anyone, but you don't get that high up in anybody's industry without sacrificing something. I've heard about the rumors with Donna, and I don't ever want to believe that, but I truly believe he did not think he was going to have daughters. And now that he has, the last thing that he really cried out upon was he did not want his two daughters to turn out like their mama.
And you know what? That goes to be true, because if the American people think about it, when you said the sacrifice, when you get up there to that level, look at Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade, a 10-year-old boy, and sacrificed him and made him gay, gave him an operation, and the boy wasn't even old enough.
Wait. What do you mean? He's already.
It's over.
What do you mean that him and Gabriella did something to that little boy? What do you mean he got his sex change?
That boy's a girl. He walking around modeling clothes. He is named and changed. Any man, I won't even call his ass a man. How would you do this to your son, a boy? You let your son and you let a woman come into your life and turn your son into a girl? See, that was the sacrifice part. Now
I told my daughters, and I know I had this conversation because my oldest son is 35. My youngest daughter just turned 29. And at a moment there, I said, she was like, "Mama, I like girls." Okay. How old are you? 10. Okay, then. The same goals, the same rules in this house still pertain. You ain't allowed to date until you're 16 years old. You're not allowed to wear makeup till you 16.
There
You're
you
not
go.
allowed to get a cell phone till you 16. And I don't give two craps if you gay or not. You will wait till you 16 to figure out what you truly are. And if you think you changing sexes, that either you're gonna love yourself or you're gonna hate you. I didn't give them a choice like that. I didn't want them, because if you go back and you look at studies, case studies, and you look at these people that transition and they pretty much mutilated what God gave them, they get up to an older level or older age and hate themselves and want to revert.
Exactly.
How can you look at yourself and think that God made a mistake? And for the people that mutilates their bodies, you will never get that back. You are literally destroying the one thing that was kissed and blessed by the Heavenly Father. So that's why I hope, and what they don't do, they push them up with all this medication, but they don't sit there and take care of their psychological mentality. Because a lot of these people start trying to hurt themselves, and it's not right.
And two, because of the teachings in the schools of homosexuality at such an early age, at kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade, our children are not psychologically mature enough to deal with that. So when you start messing with a kid's mind, and if a kid start to think that I might want to be a boy, want to be a girl, if they say that, the way the system is now, they're going to run with that, and they're going to start changing your kids. But
without your knowledge, without
your knowledge, exactly.
California has already signed a law that they can change your child's sex using your insurance without even your say so. So not only did California went ahead, I think it was SB or some SA 145, but I remember 145 or 147 was in this bill number. Now other states, other blue states, Democratic strongholds are doing the same thing in their states, where the parents no longer have a choice or no longer are parents to their own children.
Well, the one law that I know in California that they did was the one that states that if kids run away, say for instance, if my son ran away from Illinois and ran to California, and the governor has already made it a sanctuary, if he goes to California, runs away, and then California can take him and make him a ward of the state, and from that point, they can do whatever they want to do to your child, because now the state is their parents. And so that's a whole nother different can of worms, because what about the parents that own the child? So if they find their child in California, which you opening up the safe haven for, they have every right to come get their child. And that's why the Democrats are trying to lower the age of consent.
And that's why they are erasing men from the house.
Yes, and they want to lower the age of consent. So if your child is 15 or 16, if they lower
3 years old.
Really?
3.
How
3 years old.
The
3 years old.
Wow. And see, all of these things are happening, and I have to be honest, they're happening in all the Democratic states across the United States. That's what's going on at. You're not seeing a lot of the things that what you're seeing in Illinois, you're not seeing that in Florida. And I want to take my hat off to Governor DeSantis for making that parental rights bill that knocked all the homosexuality out the schools, all the transgender stuff. That bill that he signed into law took care of all of that. And
but while he's doing that, though, that's the point. While he's doing it, they call him a homophobe. They call him a racist. They saying that he hates illegals. He's a first generation Cuban who's a JAG, who his family escaped from communism. So he's trying to do the best he can for his parents and his children, and they're tag teaming him, saying he's a homophobe, he's a racist, he hate black people, he hate this. And this is far from the truth than I've ever seen, but that's what it is. The only way Satan is going to win the mind of the weak is because he's got to show the mirror to the weak folks to begin with. Because this is not our grandparents. This is not even my parents. This is not even your generation. You're in your 60s. This is going on to where we have lost a whole generation to bullcrap.
An entire, more than just one, probably 10 or 15 generations that has been killed in the womb by Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood. So we really right now have to really understand the situation we're in, because just like I keep getting back to Kanye, every black man who be a part of Hollywood, and they find out when they say something, they attack him. They attacking Kanye because he told the truth. They attacking Kanye because Kanye been behind the satanic wall, and he already saw what it's going to cost to be this elite person in the world, and he's not willing to do no sacrifices. And so that's what happens when
Pay
you
attention to Kevin Hart too.
Yep, when you come out against Hollywood, they try to make it seem like you lost your mind.
Yep.
You crazy. They try to make it seem like he don't know what he's talking about. He just babbling. His brain is not right. But the
I
whole
would put Kanye West in the same boat as a genius, but just because of his mentality. Because people got to understand, before Donna, his mama died, and before Miseducation, when he brought out his first CD, I'm telling you, he was already in college. He had a bright IQ. The dude is a genius on some level, and his mama was the one that stirred him the right way.
Yes. Yes.
But when she passed away from, because you remember she died during plastic surgery, and he just crumbled.
Well,
I have never heard about his father, and you was talking about we're gonna leave this off with male role models. I never heard Kanye West really talk about his dad the way he talked about Donna. And I know that I saw his aunts and I saw everybody else, because I was addicted. That's my guilty pleasure. So anybody asks me about the Kardashians, I could tell you I started watching them from day one, and I could pretty much tell you every relationship that's my little dirty little secret, is the Kardashians. But when he got with her, and I thought that it was going to be a home run too, but when it started going downhill, when he started hanging out more, not her, helping people in prison and going to the White House with Donald Trump and helping. But it was when he went up there with Donald Trump and started giving him the bro hug and woo, woo, woo. That is when everyone started turning against Kanye West, especially the Democrats, especially the black community. And they fell in the hole of the overseers. And you can feel any type of way, because it's a parrot within the black community. All I hear is parroting from the Democratic platform, not knowing that the black community is one of the greatest and strongest faith-based community where we believe in Jesus Christ. And we don't believe in Allah. It's Jesus Christ. And everything that I grew up in within the last 10 years in the black community, we have flipped a whole 180. Can we get back to Jesus Christ and get away from Satan?
Well, that's the whole thing that's really a problem in this country, especially with the black community. We don't stand on our own laurels. I mean, we have just scrapped Christ. We have scrapped the church, and we're just out here just wandering around now with any wind that blows, whatever doctrine that comes around, black people are put through it. We don't question nothing. We just go do it because we hope it's okay. We don't want to get everybody mad at us and so forth. But in my mind, I just can't stop thinking about the truth. See, when people tell the truth about situations, the person that's the liar does everything they can to try to ward off the truth. And that's what's happening to Kanye right now.
Well, maybe people don't want to turn out to be a MLK. Maybe people don't want to turn out to be a Malcolm X. Maybe people don't want their homeboys or homegirls to actually kill them on the spot. Maybe people are just so afraid because we know the truth. We know what's going on, but we're so afraid to be ostracized. We're so afraid to be called weak men, weak women, weak-minded people, that we are bipolar, or we're stereotypical, or we are house, or we are, we is the Harriet Tubman that don't want to stay on the plantation. Maybe people just don't want to swim against the norm. Instead of being so talked about, they just want to fit in. But we're not supposed to fit in with this world.
Well, you know what? It's been the dumbing down of the black man. Let us go on into this other conversation, okay? We're going to go into the conversation of the difference between old school men and new school men. See, I'm from the old school. My job was to become a man responsible, to take care of my family, to defend my family honor in any situation, to make sure that my kids, they got a great education. I have to protect them and raise them right. The old school man was the kind of father that would lay his life down for his family. And we grew from that. I mean, my father was the kind of man that he did whatever he had to do to ensure that our family, his kids was taken care of, my mother was taken care of. That responsibility, because he was taught how to be a man. I look at the men today, and I'm not saying all brothers are, but a lot of them, they so feminine, you don't even know if they're a man or a woman.
Or they'll hate a woman like me.
They get the long hair. I'm so glad I came up.
I get hated on more, even before I married my new husband, and who's white. I got hated more from militant black men and liberal ass white men more than I do the female side. And when a man comes towards me and try to attack me, I know y'all Achilles heel, and I go for the jugular. Because if you're going to come after me, then you need to go ahead and put a pad between your legs and go ahead and cook my supper, because you literally put yourself beneath me. So when all these weak men come to my page and actually say and attack me or attack my family or attack what I'm doing, then I know ain't nobody, you bootlicking. I'm not the bootlicker, because I don't even know you. You made it your point to come after me, not knowing where I come from, what I've been through, who I am, or what I see. You immediately started cutting me down. And it don't cut me down. You build me up because you forgot about these people. No, she was that last slave. I want you to take a great big look at her hands. She looked like she'll smack a man. My other grandmother, this one that died, was a school teacher. So she taught me the proper way to talk, how to walk, how to not chew chewing gum when I'm giving a speech, and the whole nine. But she was backed up by her husband too, who was a foreman at the local mill, had worked for 50 years, and they still got his truck out there. So I know when people are saying you forgot where you come from. What the hell you mean? I came between her legs. Okay, who had my grandmother, who had my mother, who had me, who had my daughter, who had my great-granddaughter, my granddaughter. So when most people don't even know who their true fathers are. They don't even know who their true grandmothers are. They don't even know who their great-grandparents are. But they telling me that I need to pick up a book or indoctrination to tell me I need to hate my own kind. And I need to remember I came from the hoods. Actually, I came from a plantation, from a strong woman that looked like she was that woman that you hate so much that was in the house, that actually sat there and took care of the babies of the white man, that still had the dignity to walk straight up off that plantation and make sure the rest of her offsprings was going to be okay. That's the legacy that I'm going to take. But most people hate themselves because they don't know who truly they are. So go ahead and spit in the cup to figure out what type of percentage you truly are.
And that's the thing that I'm talking about too. Old school men were responsible. And I'm not saying the young school guys are not, but I look at the situation the way it is. Back in our day, we would never let happen. You see, all the stuff that's going on now, first of all, they had to demasculate black men. See, they don't want the kind of black men like me no more. They don't want the strong black men that work out, go to the gym, that did physical labor work. They don't want the black men like me to continue to breed other black men.
Hispanic men. Now, the Hispanic community is straight generation. You have the dad, the great-grandma, the grandma, and all of them. It's men across the board. It's just not black men. It's just not white men. I'm now watching Hispanic men drop their heads. I'm sitting here like, wait a minute. Out of all the communities that's supposed to be the strongest, it's the Hispanic community. That's why the Democrats are going after them so bad. They already got the black community. They don't care about the black folks no more. They done killed us off since they done killed us off. So they've already brainwashed the black community. What the black community fighting for? Now, guess what they're doing? They're turning the black community against the Hispanic community. Yes. The black community have been against the white community for, yeah, okay. So now you got the Hispanic community The Hispanic men literally are supposed to be tucking their legs between their tails. If ain't no other men as strong, it's the Hispanic the men that is literally, I got my grandmama, I got my great grandmother, I got my wife, I got my children, I got my granddaughter, all living under one roof. And this Hispanic man got 2, 3, 4 jobs if necessary, or sitting out there on the side of the road waiting to be picked up. Now this time of day, white men, okay, we can't say nothing because we ain't got no laws. And the black man been murdered off. There's more black women walking around here in freedom. And here's the thing with the black community, black women. What we gonna do about the black men? We can't find no good men. What you mean you can't find no good men? Either they gay, or they in jail, or they're married. So guess what? I'm gonna have to go homo because I ain't got no other choice, because there ain't no strong black men in our nation. Why not? Because they've been beat down so far. Because after Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, they had no voice no more. Because when they actually get up there and tell the truth, you got somebody beating them back to the plantation, and they need to shut up and sit down, or they need to sag, and not SAGGIN. But if you flip that backwards, you got the real deal. That's so right. What is it truly is where our black men has been weakened to where they're beneath a child. When God said it's God, man, woman, and child. They tell me where my men of all races are sitting there laying on the ground and letting us walk all over their backs.
And that has all been by design, because that was the way to destroy the black family structure. If you take the men out of the family, then you got our sisters out here talking about they don't need a man because they got the house, the car, they got everything they need, they got the money. But then they raising sons without the fathers, and most of the sons now are homosexuals. And so
you ain't lying. You ain't lying. You know you're gonna get reported off this, right?
It's the truth. And
well, while we telling the truth, let's go ahead and get it out there, because I'll be surprised if this is up tomorrow, because somebody up in their feelings is going to report you. It is what it is. I've talked about this subject before, and I got reported by a white liberal male. Because I was talking about the black man, the Hispanic man, the white man, this man who confused his own self, won't even recognize what he see in the mirror every day. And I'm supposed to, and women, you can hate me, I could care less. I'm supposed to protect my man. I'm supposed to stand there beside my man. I'm supposed to have my man's side and back when he is the weakest moment in his life. Because regardless if it's God, man, woman, and child, and a man is the head of the house, the woman is supposed to be the neck. And you can't even nod or even turn your head without the neck following behind or beside. So women, just because you put your men on a pedestal and you make them the forefront of your life and in your house, there ain't nothing wrong with that. You know your place, you know your role, and you ain't trying to present anything else. But you also got to remember, when a man is at his weakest is when the woman is at her strongest.
Well, and that right there is the type of men and women that I grew up under. Those were our parents. And now I just think that when men and women get together, it's about materialistic things. Who bringing more to the table? Who gonna run the house? Who gonna do this? And that's why there haven't been a lot of black marriages, because black men and women aren't sitting down. They're not getting together. I just think that they need to bring back slow dancing. You bring back slow dancing, see, then you can get together and talk. But this situation in the black community now is really scary, because most of our men are so weak. And what I mean by that is that they're passive. They don't have the drive to fight. They don't have the will to say, you know what, I'm not putting up with this. So what? Take my job and keep it. I'm not going to go down with this. And I'm going to tell you a situation that I experienced myself about a younger brother. There's a DJ here, and I ain't going to call his name. There was a situation here in Chicago with this student. He went, and this teacher was, a male teacher was, trying to assist the student and talk to him. He lost his cool. So anyway, as this male security was talking to the student all off the cuff, start beating on the teacher. And this brother said, hold up, wait a minute. And he started beating that kid's butt. All right. They turned and fired the teacher.
Wonder if he didn't go to jail.
Wait a minute. They fired him. No charges filed because the kid clearly punched him in the face first. And that's the only reason why he fought back. So we on the air talking about it. And this DJ said, man, he should have just took that punch and did nothing. His pride got in the way. See,
what?
No, let me finish. He said that if that was me, the first thing that I would do is call my wife so that she can encourage me not to go and fight this man, to keep my job.
Dave, whoop ass. Okay, Nate.
And so when he said that, I was like, where is your pride? Where is your strength? You mean to say, I'm going to tell you, I don't care who you is. If you spit in my face.
Woo, spit. You said hit. You didn't say didn't say spit.
You spit in the man's face and hit him. If you hit me and spit in my face, you're not going to make it out. I'm just going to be real with you.
That's the worst form of anything doing to a person.
And so that told me that this young brother who was so worried about his job, he would have to call his wife and get permission from her to fight back and be a man.
Oh, no. Look, it's many women right here talking about a can of whoop ass, and then Miss Evie said, oh, hell no. Oh, see, if the women already telling you we gonna lay hands, y'all should have been jumped. I got your back. You got fired because of what? Because somebody spit on you. Did you get a lick in? That's the first thing I'm gonna say. Dude, somebody spit on you. Did you smack the taste of the mouth?
And so that's why I say our men are intimidated.
Them should have.
Are intimidated. They're so afraid that they're on the plantation in the mine. I don't want to lose my job. So what? He kicked me in the butt. I'm still gonna keep my job. So what? He told me to come in and go under the desk. When your boss tell you that, you gonna keep your job?
Nope.
And that's why I say the pride of the black man today is so weak. They so scared. They won't bust a grape. They'll get out here and kill each other, but they will not stand up against an oppressor who would take their job, treat them like dogs, and they still be running at them like, master, I just didn't keep my job.
But they're taking out on you being a strong man. Those same beta males will come and look at this show and be like, look at those coon Uncle Tom loving, blah, blah. They'll treat you just like they would Kanye West. But me, myself, I run up in the man's face. Chris, you gonna hit next right now? You better hurt me before I pull it out. I'm telling you, don't spit on me. I got smacked in the mouth. You have a core memory growing up. I had to be like 4 years old. You start learning how to. You start learning how to do that about three and a half. So what did my papa and my mommy? I had a habit of spitting, and I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. My grandmother backhanded me so fast. Even my granddaddy picked me up off the ground. He said, "I guess you won't do that again." And so I guess you won't spit at nobody else.
That's the reason why I'm talking to you young men now, right now. Y'all would have sooner go and kill each other. Mm-hmm. You will kill another black man. And when you go to court, you so afraid of the judge. When they call your name, you barely talking. So-and-so. But you just went killed another black man. See, what I'm trying to do to the young brothers is this. I want to instill some pride into them. No matter what happens to you, your job is not your God. See, we allow the material things of the earth to change us, to keep those things so that we can say we're an elite. We doing this and we got this and we got that. But what about your pride? What about your manhood? See, in my generations, if you stepped on a man's toe the wrong way and you didn't apologize, you could almost lose your life. And it wasn't about the fact that you stepped on my toe. It was the fact that you stepped on my toe, then disrespected me by not saying, excuse me, brother, I'm sorry. Just plain, simple, courtesies.
That's
And
why
see,
it needs to be an even balance. But right now in our community and a lot of other people communities, the male don't have that pants power anymore. They don't have that vocal power anymore. They don't have that alpha power anymore. But that is where it comes an even playing field where the women mold, but the men leads. I'm gonna say that one more time. Maybe I'm not saying it correctly.
caught it.
A man leads, a woman molds.
And so, and basically what you're saying is a woman run the household, the man don't know it because she allowed him to think that he run it when he really doesn't. That's what you're saying.
You already said, look, don't be
That's
telling
what you're saying.
secrets and stuff. You got to let the man think he run the house. But if you go ahead and wash 3 loads of clothes, feed the baby, clean the house, and make sure everything's done and everything's taken care of, that's a lot on us women to make out look good.
It is. And it is. And I don't take nothing away from a woman's duties.
No, I would never.
Let me say this.
My husband is trying to explain to me what you said.
And basically what I'm just saying is that a man leads the house, a woman maybe runs the internal of the house.
Well, and that's a true statement too. But what I'm saying is this. I saw my mother and father was married for 70 years, okay? And I saw my mother never challenge my father in his leadership. But what she did was she made him always think that he was the man by suggesting things and planting stuff into his head. And then he would go, well, baby, I want to do this. Even though she suggested it subliminally to him, then he was like, oh, yeah. Then she was like, oh, yeah, baby, that's fine. You show the man. So,
we gotta stroke your ego. Come on, it's gonna be all right. Just stroke that ego just a little bit. We got the power. Just stroke your ego just a little, make you feel a little bit better, and be like, go ahead and do everything opposite of what you just said. But we got you. We love you. But you good. You good. But that's what a woman does. We stroke your ego and do everything you just said not to do.
But the thing of it is, and two couples out here, it's an even kill. When I was married, my wife was my equal partner. I valued her input about everything that we did. It was no definitive leader, but we lead it together. See, and this is why I say, men, we have to be conscious when we're dealing with our women. See, I worked at the house. See, my wife never cooked. She worked the job from 9 to 5.
Listen, Dave, listen. Go ahead and tell him again. Go ahead.
My wife never cooked because I saw my father, who worked from home because we had our own business. He worked from home, and by the time my mother got home, he had washed the clothes. The house was clean. He had cooked dinner. And all those things was done so that it could make her day easier. It's a team effort that you have to use.
It's a team effort, me washing your drawers.
And both people have to contribute. So when I was married, by the time my wife got off at 5 o'clock, dinner was done. If the house was clean, if there was clothes need to be washed, I done throw the load.
I want to live. You've never tasted Dave's cooking. He made me some called Scotch egg, and I almost threw it in the trash. So I'm gonna stick with the cooking, okay?
Well, I did all of it because I owned a restaurant and I can cook probably just as good as any woman. I'm better than some women, you know.
Boo.
But I'm saying it's a team effort. When I was married, it was a team effort. You know, even though I'm the man of the house, I'm doing all my duties. My wife and I always discuss things as a team, and we went at things together. And there was never no problem. If I felt that it was something that I knew and we discussed it, and we laid it all out there, she would say, babe, you know what? I got you. I got your back. Let's go down this road. It was never an operation where we thought about it.
When your kids or anybody asked, what did your daddy say? Y'all had a united front in the house.
We had a united front.
There was no division. There was no separation. Y'all had each other's back. Y'all was on a common ground and a common goal of what you wanted to see in your household. And we need to become a common ground and a common goal of what we want to see, and not only in our community, but everyone's community across the nation, because our forefathers, our parents, our grandparents, they were strong. For all these people nowadays that we read articles and look at stories that says that our ancestors was weak, you know, they was just weak, they was stupid, they was dumb. That's dead wrong. That was wrong because they didn't have TV to distract them. So no wonder they were strong, independent, and strong-minded, and wanted the strong will to see everything that we should prosper. And it turned around the mid 1980s and up. And that's the epidemics of drugs. That's the dare. That's Tipper Gore with the censoring and everything. A lot of stuff, even in the Black community, because I can remember in the 80s with the crack epidemic, that's when the DARE program and a lot of destruction of the Black family that, because I'm only 48, so I can only tell you my point of view. That's when I saw it going downhill, was during the Wayne Williams, killing children, snatching them up, sexual perversion, all the way to the crack epidemic that happened. They thought they were zeroing in on the Black community, but the crack epidemic reached out to suburbia. And that's where you saw the DARE just say no. You saw the Tipper Gore with the being censored and everything. And then you got to look at our community when it start with the gangster rap and the regular rap.
Man.
When we started really falling off in the 80s. I don't care about the pimp society in the 70s. I don't care about the butterfly collar and the fish in the big platform. I don't care about that because I remember my daddy, he might have been a player, but he was still my father, and he would still be there because my dad was a single dad for a very long time in my life, and he did the best he could to mold me in the way, because he didn't even have a car, but he was still a hoe. But one thing he didn't do is allow me to see all these women. But as I'm looking back, he did the best that he could in the situation that he was given. And I'm saying in the 80s, I can say it in my lifetime with the HDAD, the pharmaceutical companies, with the crack epidemic,
Really?
Epidemic, and the loss of our Black society is when it really started going downhill. But when it started trickling to rural and suburbia is when other people started taking notice how much that they planned for us, but it actually turned out it was a downfall for all.
So I want people to think about what I'm saying now, especially the Black people. If you look at shows, old shows like Star Trek and the new generation of Star Trek, you don't see very many Black people, because Black people are not meant to go into the future of this country.
No, Black people are scared of heights. We don't even go swimming.
No. What I'm saying is this, because you see it even in the commercials today, how they're starting to wane away from Black couples. You don't hardly see dark-skinned couples together raising their kids. You're seeing two men, woman and a man. You're seeing mixed couples. You're not seeing a Black family structure.
You're not seeing a white family structure anymore either. You don't see two white people. You don't see two Black people. You don't see two Hispanics. We're labeled people of color, because if you give up your identity, and it doesn't matter what ethnic group you're in, you give up everything else. So we've been given, the Black community been giving up their identity. And even Martin Luther King Jr. touched on this after the 1968 Civil Rights Act, when it came to voting. He even had second doubts and second thoughts when you look at history with Ralph David Abernathy, and also what's his name? Jackson. Hosea Williams. He said we made a mistake.
Yes.
Because we shouldn't have integrated with everybody in the community, because they are already gone to Satan and to evil. And so when that happened, and you got Johnson and you got all this other stuff, the welfare system, Margaret Sanger, all the way back to the 40s and 50s, this has been planned. But they had already tore down the white community. So when the Black community started getting their voices, the first thing they saw was very much power, because the Black community has always had a very big buying power. So when they decided to start it with the Tuskegee, I mean, I might be far off, and I might be just doing this because
right on point.
My common sense tells me. After they started with Margaret Sanger, once they started with segregation, and they started seeing that the pastors, because the pastors was the leaders, the pastors was the forefront of the Black community. God was always out there. When they started with after the murder of Martin Luther King, and it's going to touch a whole bunch of people. I don't care if you hate me or not. My grandparents, Martin Luther King, I sat in his lap, and I sat in Coretta Scott King. My mama was the best friends of Bernice, so you ain't finna tell me nothing. Now, we got pictures of my old young self being in Martin Luther King's lap, and I remember listening to Coretta. I remember listening to my grandmother and a whole bunch of the Rainbow Coalition in the 70s. And I heard a whole bunch that will never pass my lip. But I also know that was the downfall of everyone's community when the Civil Rights Act was actually signed into place. So we're fighting a war that I wasn't even born, and you was maybe a child, but we're fighting a war that's been set into motion ever since the Civil War, and we caught our freedoms.
And you know what? Dr. King said it because when he realized what was happening and he saw it, he did tell them that he said, we made a mistake by integrating because Black people lost all their businesses, everything was taken away, and then we became dependent. That is how we got to the place where every Arab man who is in another Arab country, when they want to get rich, they said, just give me a bunch of fake stuff. Let me open a store in the Black community and they'll buy anything and we'll take the money out the community and we'll get rich. And if you think I'm lying, go to the corner store and see how many Arab brothers and sisters down there. See,
I don't care how many. I would stand right beside you and I would grasp your hand and I would hang you side by side. You're not lying. You sound so much like my three fathers. And before we end the show, my first dad, who birthed me, who I am DNA, he was artillery army, also a Vietnam. My second father was Johnny Jones. He was Navy. He was also in Vietnam. And like I said, Papa Scott or Willie Moore was one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party of Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn of the 1970s. So as David is talking about all this, I remember those conversations. Regardless if people feel like that my fathers was racist or not, they was right.
It's not about being racist.
They was right to try to protect us and protect everybody's community, because I think they saw it on everybody's side that this was going to be a problem. And right now
it became a problem because once that the Black entrepreneurs was taking out the Black community, then the Black dollar left the community so that there was nothing put back in. There was no economic buildup. There was no Black leaders or no Black business owners who got together and created a conglomerate. The whole thing just fell apart, and the Black community became a profit zone for anybody. Anybody except a Black person could go get a
right
loan.
Now, I know we got 2 minutes left. So Lorenzo, because I see you out there. David, because I see you out there. Mr. Binky, because I know you watching. And also my husband. Y'all are the men. Y'all are our future, and you're the future of this nation. And I don't care what side you lean on. I don't care what your ideology is. But please raise strong Black people. Please raise strong Hispanics. Please raise strong men across the board. Because without our testosterone, we're going to be a whole bunch of people that got a whole bunch of estrogen. And I'm going to not need some weak men. I'm going to need my strong men of every ethnic group to get back out there on the forefront and protect the elders like God commanded y'all to. Protect the youth because God commanded y'all to. And protect the woman folks, regardless if you got these masculine women or not. I'm asking you on behalf of the woman faith and the women, we need y'all. We need our strong men, because a whole bunch of women are raising boys that's going to turn out not like our old generation, not like our strong men and women, not like this. They're going to be questioning their own identity. And we're going to need our strong men to remember the natural order of things. And that's God, man, woman, and child.
Sister, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit later. God bless you. Thank you for being on the show.
Absolutely. Lorenzo, love you, bro, and I don't even know you.
Folks, I want to thank you for tuning in to the show. It was a great show. We're going to finish this conversation tomorrow because there needs to be a structure of order in the Black community. Our Black men need to start stepping up to the plate and be men. We have to stop worrying about what's going on with our women taking over. It is our responsibility to take care of the family, to protect our women and children, and build our community. So in saying that, I want to thank folks for listening and watching the show tonight. We're going to get it in every night, Monday through Friday. You can go to tecntv.com and check us out. And I want to thank our sponsors, Living and Driving While Black, and our new company, Dickens CBD. We'll start rolling out products here in the next couple of weeks or so. You can buy it. I got a bunch of samples. It's great for pain. But we want to start doing that. These are my last words. It is not easy being a man. A lot of us can take the easy ride out. We can do something crazy and go to jail and be incarcerated. But to be a man, to deal with this world, to love your family and be responsible, to take care of your kids, to be the protector, to be the person in the house that if something happens, you have to be there. And that is what has happened to the Black community. Black men have been taken out of their homes through systemic racism with welfare, drugs, going to jail, the police killing us. All of these things have weakened the Black community. And to our young men now, you might want to talk about older men and say, well, I ain't going to do that stuff. I'm not going to work out. I'm not going to lift no weights. All I'm going to do is play Nintendo. I'm going to let my hair grow, and I'm going to look like a girl. I'm not going to lift no weights. I ain't going to hit no heavy bag. I ain't going to do nothing. So I really can't protect my family because I can't even protect myself. These are the kind of men that are here today. The kind of men that would say, I want to lay my life down for my family. That's the kind of man I am. Those kind of men no longer exist because of fear. The fear of losing something. But the word is this: if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. And our young Black men are falling for everything. They have no pride in themselves. They walk around with their pants down. They think that if I can get me a song and sell it, I'm okay. I got to get me some drugs and sell it, I'm okay. That's not what a man does. He's a protector of his house. He's a father. What we have to do now is we have to start teaching our young men because they don't know how to be men. We got a lot of boys walking around in men's clothes. They think because I got a nice car, a house, and a car that I'm a man. Being a man is the character that's inside you. It's something that can't be bought. It has to be taught. To be a man and to grow to be a man, you have to be taught by a real man. And in saying that, God bless you, folks. We'll be here tomorrow, Friday. It's All Out Friday. No topic is going to be safe. No person and no conversation is going to be safe because we're going to get it in right here and let the truth be told, let the truth be told. I would rather for you to hurt me with the truth than comfort me with the lies that you're going to tell. God bless you. See you tomorrow, folks. Peace.